Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here to talk about a really interesting new recording of, well, two works you probably haven't heard of. The first is Julian Orbon's Partita No. 4 for piano and orchestra, which only had one prior recording that was available on Olympia, and I think it's since disappeared entirely. Here it's performed by let's get this right, Noelia Rodiles, thank you, piano, and the Oviedo Filarmonia under Lucas Macías, or Macías. I don't know, I don't see an accent. Oh, Macías, there is an accent there. It's a tiny little accent. I have to try to find this. Yes, Macías. Sorry, maestro. There is the accent aigu. So yeah, this is really fun, along with Manuel Boros's piano concerto. It's a piano concerto called Cloches, bells. It has bells, lots of bells. And it's really very interesting. Now, Julian Orbón is a wonderful composer. If you don't know him, I've talked about him quite a few times. You can find videos, you can find my reviews on ClassicsToday.com. He was a very austere Spanish composer who was exiled from Cuba, and he wrote a very limited number of works, but in, quite a few different genres. His orchestral works that you may have heard of, if you've heard anything, are the Tres Versiones Sinfónicas, which Eduardo Mata recorded with the Orquesta Sinfónica Simón Bolívar. That was out for a while. And then there's a newer recording on Naxos, his symphonic dances, which are lovely, his Concerto Grosso for string quartet and ensemble, which is absolutely marvelous, string quartet and orchestra. And he wrote 4 partitas. He also wrote a very nice string quartet. I mean, he's really a really fine composer, but like Falla, he wrote very few works. There's an early symphony in C which is lost. It was supposedly lost in Venezuela. I made great efforts to find it at one point to see if it was still in Cuba somewhere. It was hopeless. Anyway, bottom line, Partita No. 4 is based on the Victoria motet O Magnum Mysterium, hence the title of the disc, Mysterium. It's a very austere work, somewhat dissonant, but exciting and brooding and tragic in some respects. Really a powerful piece, but it takes some getting into. I mean, you're not going to hear like Victoria motets all over the place. It's pretty well hidden, but it's very powerful and beautiful music. It's in one big movement, and it deserves to be played a little bit more often if you like sort of thorny contemporary piano concerto type things. And this is a very good performance. I mean, Noelia Rodiles is a fine artist. The orchestra sounds terrific. The recording's very good. It's on the Eudora label, which has done some very enterprising repertoire. And as far as the Cloche piano concerto by Burgos, well, he has one of those weird little explanations about bells in different cities and, otherworldly resonances. No, that's by Crumb, isn't it? Well, anyway, it's about resonance and stuff like that, and it's got lots of bells bonging and shlonging. And the idiom is, well, to be fair, sort of generic modern. I like to hear pieces where I can tell that the composer isn't anybody else, and I have yet to be able to determine, after having heard this a couple times, what it is that differentiates Burgos from everybody else who's doing sort of modern, not terribly tonal, not terribly melodic, not terribly not. It's textural. It's fair to middling, I would say. Maybe if I hear more works by Burgos, I'll be able to figure out if there's a personal stamp behind any of this stuff. But the really important thing is the Orbon. And I mean, they're both very, very well performed, and I have, nothing but admiration for Madame Rodiles for playing both the Orbon and this new work, which was only composed in 2023. I mean, it's great that we get to hear it and hear it in such a fine performance. So again, it's on the Eudora label, and it's definitely worth hearing. And I really, really, really suggest that if you haven't, you get to know the music of Julian Orbón. You will love it. I mean, it's really, really good. And actually knowing the earlier works helps in digesting the Partita, which is one of his thorniest pieces. It was written, I think, in 1985, somewhere around there. So, so you'll hear the distinctive stylistic fingerprints with which it is saturated abundantly. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care.